Because if it's been sitting for a while like this and how it broke up there, you need to look in the tube because see what's broke there and broke there, so it won't pull it. So you got to feed this through and get it to where it's solid again. So I got to get it pushed out as best as I can. So there's a piece broke there. You got to get it to where it's not any broken pieces left. There we go. So now it's good there. Now we're going to turn it on.
Should be on.
There it goes. All right, so what we got to do, since that broke off in there, there's probably a little piece that's stuck in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this extruder up. So I'm going to press the button. I'm going to go to prepare, and we're going to use extruder 1. Whoop, wrong place. I'm sorry. We're going to go to preheat PLA because we're going to be using PLA. Then PLA 1 means it's going to heat up that first extruder over here to the left. PLA 2 would be the second extruder over there. What I do is just heat it all up because after I do this, I'm going to end up printing something anyhow. So I'll go ahead and have everything heating up so it won't take it as long to heat. So we have to let it heat up first. Got it preheated. We're going to take the lid off. And then we have to unplug these two plugs right here, these electrical plugs. So I'm going to unplug those, unplug this one, and then I've got to loosen the screw on the head with an Allen wrench. So it's the 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench. So I'm going to loosen this screw up. Until it's loose, and we'll pull the head up, and you see our piece that broke off there. So what we're going to try to do is pull this out without breaking it, and we got it. So we got that out. And then we're going to put this back down, but when it goes back down, this screw a lot of times doesn't want to go down in that hole, and that's where it needs to go. So when you do this, when it goes back down, you have to kind of move the screw with the Allen wrench so it goes back down in the hole and tighten the head back up good and tight with the 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench. And then we're going to plug our two leads back up. And then we're going to make sure we're still preheated. Yep, it's still good. And then we're going to feed our filament back down, and this is important. Where it broke off, we need to cut it at about a 60-degree angle with a pair of diagonal cutters. That'll help it feed. So we're just going to come and cut it at about 60 degrees. So it is tapered like that. That helps it feed down through the gear of the bearing. Then we're going to come over here to extruder 1. We're going to push this down there, and I always keep the tube back, and it helps me see if it's feeding or not. And there's a couple ways to do this. You can do it like this if you want, but I always prefer to do it through prime filament. So I just push the button. We're going to go to prepare. We're going to do extruder 1 because we're using extruder 1. I'm going to go to prime filament, and I'm going to push as I'm feeding so it goes down through there. And I'm going to hit prime filament because we don't know if there's a little tiny piece stuck at the bottom. If I try to just turn this gear sometimes, it'll hit that and it'll clog it up again. This makes it go really slow. If you know there's nothing down in there, you can just turn the gear by hand. But I'm going to hit prime filament until I see it coming out of the extruder. And one reason I'm sticking my fingers right here is because with my eyes, it's hard for me to tell if it's feeding. So if I hold this right here and I look at my pinky, I can tell it's going down. So I'm just going to keep hitting prime filament until I see it start coming out of the extruder.
Oh, you don't just hit it one time?
Yeah, it stops. It'll go for like 5 seconds and then it'll stop and you just keep hitting it until we get it down through there. Now it's starting to push it out. See the little piece right there that was on where it's pushing it out? Sometimes if you try to feed it too fast, that'll get stuck and clog it up. Feeding it slow like this helps it to push it out. And I'll do it a couple times just to make sure it's flowing nice. And one thing to remember is if you can't grab a piece that's in the tube once I lifted the head up, that's where you take that 2.5 millimeter Allen wrench and push slow until you get all the way to the bottom, and that'll push everything out. And then you can feed this in. So now we've got that. We're going to put the lid back on. We'll feed that tube up through the slot in the lid. We got that. I'm just going to reach in, grab the extra stuff to throw away, and then if you need to recoat the bed with Wolf Bite, it'd be good to recoat it every 3 or 4 prints. But I've coated it last time when I did the Virginia one, so it should still be good. So now we're going to print a new spool holder. So let's see if we can find that. So I'm going to go to, I'll hit the button, I'm going to go to print from SD. And I got to find it. Might be at the bottom.
Probably a lot you
Way
gotta
down
go
at the
through.
bottom. They might have to download it. They might have changed it. It's on DCI. Let's see. Huh. It's not on there anymore. Let's see. It's on this one.